What's up, guys? This is Wi-Fi Memory here today, bringing you guys another Pokemon analysis video on Pokemon that I call Gastrodon. Apparently, this Pokemon is sitting currently in the RU tier metagame. Are you guys kidding me? Like, legit, dude, this Pokemon deserves to be an OU. In fact, this Pokemon has made so many appearances, it practically is a threat in OU. But this Pokemon sits as a tier of RU. And, I mean, this thing's one of those pure examples that it does really good in a higher tier. In fact, it's been noted to be a pretty scary Pokemon even up in Ubers to counter Palkias, countering Kyogre, Groudon, as long as it didn't have a primal form. Gastrodon's up there. Gastrodon is really solid. And but it's sitting here in the RU tier metagame for Pokemon Sword and Shield, and I want that to change for a Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. Gen 4 being the region that this Pokemon came from. This Pokemon needs to get some buff or something. Come on, Game Freak. And we're going to be talking about it a little bit today. A lot of the movesets I've looked at are relatively the same. You can pretty much place Gastrodon in a singles format or doubles format. Gastrodon's very solid in both formats. A very good Pokemon overall if you really want to put it on any team. Some videos I did watch that went into more depth. They talking about like team building and stuff. You can't. They told me, don't put Gastrodon as a glue to fix your team, but let Gastrodon sit as one of your main members of your team, and it's going to do a lot better. Don't use Gastrodon because it has Storm Drain ability. I'm very weak to water Pokemon. No, actually go find a Pokemon that can take that water, more properly, get you a grass type. You don't necessarily need a water type or whatever. But if you're wanting to build around Gastrodon, apparently he does tremendously of really crazy. He actually does a lot better. And right here's some proven sets. The last one is some moves. I just want to kind of go over that. Hey, Gastrodon gets these moves. And he's been known to use these moves in the past. But starting things off, we're looking at a moveset of... Well, hold on. Let's go over the base stats first, like I always do. Alright, so first thing that pops out on this base stats, 111 HP. This thing has crazy HP. This HP right here plays for days. And since he also has recovery, as you see right there, this Pokemon just can keep recovering over and over, and it most of the time can find the opportunity to do so. So always keeping your Gastrodon safe and letting it come in to take the water attacks, take any electric types attacks as well. A lot of players either like to run it with sand or with rain. This Pokemon's perfect, especially with some high HP. Attack is 83, so that's not too bad. None of these sets are rocking out with a physical Gastrodon. But 83 is not bad. Body Slam, I know is Gastrodon's pretty known for having, but let's actually see if they have some pretty notable physical attacks. I know Body Slam. Let's see. I mean, I see Counter. Well, there's Earthquake though. Earthquake looks good. Facade. And obviously you're not going to run Body Slam and Facade. I'm just going over some moves. Right, there's Rock Slide. So from what I see, we got pretty decent moves overall. I mean, right there's Waterfall. That's a pretty good water attack if you wanted that. Yeah. Slap a choice band on that. Right there's your physical Gastrodon. Now, once Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl comes out, if someone can remind me, I will literally run this Gastrodon set just for the laws, but I will do it. Be like, hey, Wi-Fi Merriman, remember that choice band Gastrodon? And then I'll probably go, yeah, I do remember that. So bring it back up, and I'll use a choice band Gastrodon for at least one video. But back to its stats a little bit. 68 defense. Yeah, with that 111 HP, it actually plays. It's not too bad. 92 special attack. It's not bad. Not bad at all. It could be better. Like, legit, you could honestly buff that up just a little bit and give it 100 special attack, Game Freak. And then this thing would be a major threat. 82 special defense with this HP is phenomenal. Like, with this high of HP, yeah, you can have some pretty low defenses, and it's still going to be taking those attacks very well. That's why Pokemon like Blissey and stuff can practically just wow out a lot of things. Like, yeah, Blissey's a little physical weak, but it has that high HP, and a lot of times it can survive at least one physical attack because of that high HP. 39 speed. A lot of times, that speed don't matter. Especially, you're using Gastrodon to wall. You actually kind of want it to be a lower speed, so that way they attack you. Let's say you had a Toxicroak or something. They attack you, and then, hey, I'm going to recover the next turn, so I'm going to be able to survive, and kind of toxic stall, and they're not doing that much damage to me, so we're all good. You force switches that way, and that's why this is nice. But yeah, right here's a set. I'm sure I've been all over this set, by the way. Scald, Toxic, Confined. For the ones that don't know, lowers the target special attack by 1. It's not bad. And then Recover. Basically, you bring this thing in to try and toxic stall your opponent. You chip them away a little bit with your Scald, potentially getting a burn. If you need to land a Toxic to really catch them, to start getting that big damage out, throw a Toxic. If they are a special attacker, you're free to go for Confined if you wanted to, unless it's Milotic. Do not confine a Milotic. That would just be bad. That would be terrible, actually. Next, Gastrodon. Who's gotten the heavy-duty boots, obviously. Most Gastrodons in singles will run heavy-duty boots. Some other items that are notable are Rindoberry and Leftovers. Outside of that, Citrus Berry, maybe? And that's what I use. I like Citrus Berry Gastrodon a lot. At least for VGC. As you don't really get heavy-duty boots usage in VGC. In singles, I would imagine, because of Stealth Rock, Spikes, Toxic Spikes, Sticky Web even. Like I said, Gastrodon doesn't care to be slow. But if you know, hey, my Gastrodon can outspeed something, you definitely won't be able to outspeed it if you want to, if you can. So most of these Gastrodons you'll see have heavy-duty boots. But yeah, you can change those items out if you need to. This set is interesting. Instead of Confined, which you'll see on most of these Gastrodon sets, is just a one move change. But this one's going to be Clear Smog. For the ones that don't know what Clear Smog can do, resets all the target stat changes to 0. And this is why this Gastrodon does so well in Ubers. Alright, so you're facing down a Xerneas, you're facing down Arceus or something. Gastrodon can take their attack. Like, Gastrodon, you can EV train Gastrodon to actually take their attack, and then you can Clear Smog. Boom. Xerneas just lost all of its setup. You're kind of forcing the Xerneas to basically has to go for another Geomancy without its Power Herb if it wants its Sweep, and therefore for most Xerneases, they do that. You got Recover. You got Toxic. they're not, I mean, at that point, they're not going to really be able to break your Gastrodon. You can actually probably switch Gastrodon out too to a more proper threat. The cool thing is with Gastrodon, it doesn't just stop there. It's a counter to Kyogre. It's a counter to Groudon even. Yeah, you may have to put Gastrodon on a rain team to fully counter Groudon, but it's there. You have that as an option. You know, Gastrodon can do a lot of work for you, and Gastrodon deserves to at least be an OU Pokemon in my opinion. And I mean, it's got spots in Ubers, man. You know, kind of like that Babarial video I just did not too long ago. It was like, wait a minute, Babarial, with that Moody ability, he was able to go into Ubers, but without it, he was like in you or even below, you know. And Gastrodon, it's actually does decent in the tier that it's in, which is currently RU. But, you know, I want to see this thing up in OU permanently, you know. Next set. This is probably more of a VGC-like set. It does have Earthquake. You can probably change that for Earth Power. I really don't know. I got these sets off of Smogon, so... but this one's rocking out with a Sticky Hold. So maybe Earthquake is for another reason. But you got the option. If you are special attacking Gastrodon, you can definitely have Earth Power. You can have Earthquake if you're a physical. But Sticky Hold Gastrodon, you don't want to lose your items. Sticky Hold was nice back in the day when that was literally Gastrodon's only ability. But nowadays, a lot of times this ability gets stopped by just having Storm Drain. Storm Drain's amazing ability. It gives you a lot of... You're able to switch on any water attack knowing that you're going to get a special attack boost. Sticky Hold's there. If they go for knockoff on you, you're not going to lose your item. So it's great. Like you compare that with, I mean, even with heavy duty boots, because, you know, I know in Smogon, you don't necessarily have item claws. But, you know, let's say you're playing a format tournament or something that says item claws or whatever. Well, you have this as an option. So you can Sticky Hold. Now you know you're never going to lose your heavy duty boots on your Gastrodon. It's just a different option. I kind of just want to go over that ability because it's a decent ability. It's not groundbreaking. His other ability, which is a Dream World ability or hidden ability, is Sand Force. And what this does is ground, rock, steel attacks do 1.3. So basically an extra life orb, but you have to be in the sand. You have to be in Sandstorm to pull that one off. And that's awesome as well. You know, you give yourself... I mean, that's not too bad. You get basically a life orb. If you slap on a life orb too on this thing, you're hitting pretty tough. You're hitting hard. You'd probably be breaking some Pokemon. But anyway, let's look at this next one. Ice Beam. Ice Beam is there. Basically, it's a good coverage attack. If you see this Gastrodon, he actually took Scald off for Ice Beam. Basically, you don't necessarily have to run to your water type to go in and actually let Gastrodon do work. That water coverage is mainly there. You run Scald. Yes, it's stabbed. Yes, you hit those fire types super effective with it. But you can hit it super effective with Earth Power as well. So if you run Ice Beam, all of a sudden... Salamence, Dragonites that usually aren't too threatened by Gastrodon get one shot. That's very notable in my opinion. You know, you're going to be able to one shot one of the scariest types in the metagame. Yes, sign me up. Because at the end of the day, you're not getting much out of Scald other than good damage on fire types. You got good damage on other Pokemon as well, but most notably, you can get the same damage with Earth Power. and it's stabbed as well. And so you run the Ice Beam. Hey, I'll take it all day. You know, you got that Recover, Toxic. It's not too bad. Not too bad. I like this set. This might be the go-to Gastrodon set, honestly, for Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. Keep your eyes out on that one. This Gastrodon is other moves. This is not a Gastrodon set or nothing. I just wanted to show you some other moves that Gastrodon can get. And you got Blizzard. A lot of times you see Gastrodon on Hell teams. Gastrodon's a great Pokemon to be on all sorts of teams, by the way. But Hell teams, it's pretty decent. He can hit 100% Blizzards on Hell. Potentially get you a double freeze. You know, if you and Gastrodon, your partner Pokemon for VGC, go for Blizzard, double Blizzards, you get pretty decent luck sometimes, you know, of getting those freeze hexes. Plus, you're hitting 110 base power attack, so it's not too shabby, especially at the end of the turn. Most likely your opponent's going to be buffeting. Yeah, it's not too bad. But here's two moves I didn't realize Gastrodon got, which would be Counter and Mirror Coat. Basically, they are the same move, other than Counters for the physical attacks, or Mirror Coats for the special attacks. If I hit you with, let's just say, a physical attack, and Gastrodon went for Counter, he's going to return double the damage. And that's the same for Mirror Coat. Special attack, it'll return double the damage. That, to me, is crazy that Gastrodon gets it, because it's so bulky, you know? So he takes an attack, and he's going to live. Let's say he takes a Kyogre Ice Beam, which he does. It's actually a free hit KO. But how it lands, he can take a Kyogre Ice Beam, and then he can just basically one-shot the Kyogre with Mirror Coat. Yeah, I know, right? It's crazy. So, Gastrodon's super awesome. The last one I wanted to talk about was Momentum. So, the user will faint. It will. I mean, Gastrodon will faint, and you're like, wait a minute, that's not too good. But it lowers your opponent's attack and special attack by 2, so it makes them useless, so it forces them to switch. So if Gastrodon's already at low enough HP, you can throw a Momentum at them, and potentially could save you the game. It forces their switch. You can go into something that definitely needs a setup from that point, and they can't do nothing to stop that setup. You can go into Dragon Dance, Dragonite, Swords Dance, Garchomp, and from there you're going to be able to sweep, and that might actually be the reason why you were able to pull that off. One move that just came in my head that I think is also, that does almost the same thing as Momentum, is Yawn. Now, Yawn's a 2-turn attack, basically. It puts your opponent asleep, but you have to go for it 1 turn before it goes asleep. So you go for Yawn, a lot of times your opponent doesn't want that Pokemon to go asleep, so they'll end up switching it out. If you can read that switch out, you can go into Garchomp or Dragonite or whatever you think that counters who they're switching out. It's a little bit more risky. It is. That's why it's kind of like a notable mention. I do like Yawn. It's a very good tech. Gastrodon actually has a lot of great techs to look into. Like, I know it's got Pain Split as well. I'm seeing Curse right here too. Ancient Power if you want to get a bunch of stat boosts, but it's a little random. Like, Ancient Power is like 10% and you can get all your stats raised. It's a little risky, but if you can pull it off, sometimes Gastrodon will sweep from that, you know? Anyway, if you guys did enjoy today's video, let me know in the comments down below. This is Wi-Fi Merriman signing out. Peace.